Okay, sup guys, Aki here. Today I want to talk about Berserk Boy. I found this game while trying to find games that play like the older Mega Man games, specifically like the X series and Battle Network, but there aren't really any games that are like Battle Network except for maybe One Step from Eden, but I'm pretty sure that's a roguelike, so yeah, anyways, I stumbled upon this game, Berserk Boy and Gravity Circuit, which came in a bundle. So today I want to talk about them. Or just Berserk Boy. I need to. I like 100% games before I talk about them. So today is gonna be about Berserk Boy. Berserk Boy is kind of like Mega Man X, a 2D platformer with very light Metroidvania aspects, as in you can use your later abilities to go to older missions and 100% them by finding previously inaccessible rooms, medals, and resistance members. I like to get the bad out of the way right away in case it's a deal breaker for someone. And in the case of Berserk Boy, it's the audio. Like sometimes the music just stops, the voice acting is pretty rough, and it uses the weird half voiceover. For example, you see this in Persona, where the character says some of the lines that are written, but not all. The only exception to this is the big bad genius. His screams are really visceral. I really like what his voice actor did. And hands down, it's also the best fight in the game. Also, I had one game freeze that crashed the game. And there's a couple visual hiccups, like the ability wheel clipping through a foreground asset like trees or pillars. And a very small bug that you can actually use to your advantage is when you open the ability wheel while enemies are spawning in, it will immediately spawn them in. Okay, for the good. The art style is very charming, the controls are super fluid, the platforming sections are very enjoyable and make use of all of your abilities instead of just like focusing on one. Now, granted, later on you can kind of skip a couple of sections with the flying ability, but because the game makes use of gates or roadblocks that only the corresponding ability can remove, you still have to make use of all your abilities sooner or later in those named sections. The abilities are pretty well designed. You have Lightning, which focuses on dashing and tagging enemies for a big electrical release. Ice, which turns you into a ninja and focuses on either throwing kunais really fast or dashing in and out of them, which can lead to huge damage, but you have to be careful because you don't get iframes. Fire Drill, which is somewhat slower but hits very hard, and it also lets you go into the ground. Air, which lets you fly and either rotates your disc around you that deals some damage and blocks, or you hold it in front of you and block projectiles and shoot them back. And the Earth Orb, which lets it's a bit weird. It lets you double jump, interact with certain platforms and doors, and for an attack you mark enemies, and then a missile homes in on them. I found it to be more of a hassle than benefit during like the normal playthrough and stuck to the other abilities more often than not. Especially since your attack need to recharge until the last upgrade, but at that point it becomes extremely strong. Like it's the best enemy killing and boss killing weapon. But the way it stands, like for a normal playthrough, it's just way too underwhelming without upgrades, since the other orbs do more and you get them earlier, so you're more accustomed to them. You can also swap abilities, orbs, suits, call them whatever you want, on the fly by holding triangle or Y or whatever the equivalent is on your gamepad, which also pauses the game. You can also do this in the air, except for when you're using the flying ability and you're actually flying. Or you can use the shoulder buttons to cycle through them. The Ice Kunai Ninja is my favorite one because your character starts beatboxing when you attack. So it's just funny. There's an upgrade system, but it's kind of bare bones. Like you have your health upgrade, your mana upgrade, and then you attack faster. Or the electric orb, you can use your attack in the air once, and the fire dude gets like one more attack in a string. It's there, it's nice, but it's nothing, you know, nothing crazy. The story is whatever. There's this dude called Genos, he's using the Berserk orbs, like the thing that gives you abilities. If you can synchronize with it and shout "Go Berserk" to try and dominate the world, but apparently he tried to do good back in the days. This bird that knows him took the lightning orb and gives it to you, so you can try to stop him. You're also working for like these military resistance dude, but it's never like properly explored. It's just a premise, so the game can work. I don't know how else to explain. The story isn't the main focus. Honestly, yeah, like in a game like this, it's way more gameplay focused, like gameplay first. Anyways, the story is not shit. It, it's just not good, but it doesn't have to be. It's like the older Mega Man games again, where you get a setup, and after beating a boss or before fighting a boss, you get like a little bit more of the story, but it's not the focus at all. The gameplay loop consists of doing 3 missions in one stage. The last mission consisting of beating a boss fight and getting their orb, so like you get a new ability, and then clearing the main hub, the base, of a couple stray enemies to like kind of let you play around with your new suit before repeating. Level design is genuinely really good since it tests your skill with all of the tools that are available to you, but the combat challenges could have used more work. It's mostly like the enemies, you just hit them until they die. There's kind of enemy variety, but it doesn't matter because you one-tap most things. But for the bosses, it's just if he does X attack, just beat the shit out of him. But if it's Y attack, you just have to wait and dodge. Like if you attack, you're gonna get smacked. So, you know, the stages themselves also don't really distinguish themselves. So now I'm talking about visual design. Like gameplay-wise, the levels are really well designed, but visually, except for the forest, they all kind of look like futuristic military base, right? There are 5 stages in total, each having, well, technically there's like one more, but you know, I'll leave that for you to discover. There are 5 stages in total, each having 3 missions and the same missions as an EX version, which is basically a tweaked, way harder version that you also have to speedrun, that you unlock by 100%ing the normal version of that stage, and those really test your skill. What sucks about the EX stages though is that there's no retry button, so if you want to restart, you have to go back to base and reselect the mission. So, very minor nitpick, you can't skip the end mission result screen or the mission start teleportation animation. It doesn't take more than like 5 seconds, but if you are someone that likes to rerun the same missions, or if you're trying to 100% the game, it can become an issue very quickly. Also, quick tip for S ranking, because there's not a lot of information about this game out there. For S ranking, the normal stages, it's not about speed. You don't have to focus on running through the stage fast. It's way more important, and I think that's actually the only metric, to get the points as high as possible. So even when you're rerunning the mission, go visit the hidden rooms you already found and pick up all the orbs. You need to make sure to get around 65 to 70,000 points and not die. If you don't die and you get between 60 and 70k points, you're gonna get an S rank. To end this video, I can't tell you how to spend your money, but what I can tell you is I enjoyed my time with this game. I'm almost at 100%. I only need to like do 2 more stages, but I wanted to get this video out so I can start working on Gravity Circuit. But yeah, I do recommend this game, especially if you want to scratch that Mega Man itch. You might have already played something like Azure Striker and are looking for something else. This game is, if you're just doing the main story, right? It's pretty short. It's like between 3 and 6 hours. But this seems to be the first game of the studio, so I'm looking forward to what else they might release in the future. If you're gonna try to 100% it, it could take you between 7 and, I must say, 12 hours. But the game does have replay value, so there's that. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and take care. Bye bye.
Let's find out what you got.